Why don't y'all check that out?
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Buenos dias, everybody.
Muy bien, gracias, y tú.
Oh, very nice. Don't say that lecture thing no more. I like this. I like the muy bien, y too. That's the best. Good morning. Happy Hump Day.
Happy Hump Day. Is it Wednesday? I don't know
Gotta
what day
get
it is.
over the hump.
Let me tell you.
Gotta get over the hump. Gotta get over the hump.
I don't want to interrupt
Over the
some
hump.
music.
Gotta
breaks.
get over the hump. I know, right?
They're so
Music
good.
breaks should be left.
They're
over
so
there.
good. I don't want to interrupt those. But I don't know what day it is because during events that such as these, that the NAACP,
The NAACP
event,
National Convention, yes.
is just day 4. I mean, day 5,
Day
actually.
5. This
you
is
know what I'm saying? It's the final day. So,
Right.
so at least for me, I spent 5 days in the situation. It's actually probably like day 9 for the people who came at the very beginning and started the AXO, because AXO was before, which is the youth stuff that was before the actual, like, convention started. So, you know, it's been a lot going on. So some people have been down here for a very long time.
Okay.
But for me, day 5. And if that is also a Wednesday, then fantastic.
All right, so we're getting that on our Facebook feed. We are sounding blown out. So we're gonna fix things just a little bit right here. All right, let us know if that is a little more better.
Mo Better Blues.
Yeah. All right. So so it is. It's day 5, and they're ending off the public part of the celebration with a bang, right?
That was yesterday. Like that was just yesterday.
Right.
They're just ending off the celebration.
Right.
With
The
a
celebration
bang.
with a bang. Right. Right. Right.
That public
No pun
free
intended.
celebration was career day that they ended that off with.
Right.
Oh
my gosh. So now we're too low. Come on, people. Not people. Come on, Zay. Fix this. All right. How about now? How does this sound now? Do you know? You're not gonna, you don't be paying attention.
I'm watching on the app myself.
Right.
So.
All right. Anyway, this is something that, as we go on, is growing pains. We'll figure it out.
Yes.
But right now, this is something that you guys should know already. If not, if we didn't tell you, it's because NAACP was happening. But while all this stuff was happening, we now have acquired the ability to kind of be in a few different places all at the same time. So we're not now just broadcasting on the radio,
right,
or simulcasting on the radio and Facebook. Now we are simulcasting on the radio, Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube. Yes. So now the One Radio's YouTube channel is being populated every day with plenty of stuff, and broadcasting or simulcasting on the app as well. So make sure to pick up the app and take us with you wherever you go by just clicking one button, as opposed to, who wants to click 3 buttons?
I mean, right.
I pay 99 cents to just streamline my experience.
Well, you should pay 99 cents anyway because it supports us and you listen to us, so support us, right?
I guess.
I'm sorry. Don't get me
it's
started.
all good. It's all good. And
but
it's
see, here's the
true.
thing. NAACP is wrapping up, right?
NAACP wrapping
so what should be happening is
I
don't know.
Should I keep it?
I mean, I didn't dress you this morning. I don't know why you buttoned it all the way to the top and then stopped.
It was dark. How many? There's more buttons.
I think this is the top. I have no idea why it's all the way
top
up there.
button, top not button. I know my wife is watching right now. She'll let me know. Take that silliness off, or well, you're looking kind of sexified in a bow tie missing kind of way.
We'll find
get a bow tie.
We'll find out in 5, 4, 3, 2.
There's a little bit.
Unbutton the button. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, really?
I'm just kidding.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so continue what you were saying, because I interrupted you with my.
What I was saying is that at this point in time, boom. See.
Sorry, I didn't even realize until we started.
So what I was saying was at this time, really so it's the end of the convention. So right now, conversations should be, how do we keep that energy going and all the things that we've learned and seen and heard and all of that? How do we keep that energy going? So anybody who experienced some of that NAACP energy, this is the time to start creating those moves, and just figuring out, what you want to do next and how you want to make your next move.
Right.
You know, and I can just say anybody who went out there and what's up, Radio Land, we just kind of busted in on you guys. But somebody telling me now that's what they were listening to.
I just thought that was on loop. What is that?
Pretty much. That's the radio station. That song. You know, and I would say anybody who got an email or contact information or, you know, shook a hand and, you know, met somebody, like, stay in contact.
Right.
You know, we have such a huge life, right? Life starts and we start moving and shaking, and then it's like, man, I forgot that I got that card, or I forgot that I met that person, and you never called him back or reached out in the first place.
Right.
You know, so like if you got some information from somebody on email, like send them your package, send them your info.
Right.
You know, don't send them all your ideas that are not yet patented.
Right. No, exactly. Copyright, trademark. You make sure you protect yourself.
Right. Yeah. You
make sure you protect yourself before you send anything out. But it's always kind of a good rule to live by, right? Like once you meet somebody, if you truly want to keep them in your life, then try to hit them up within 24 hours.
Yeah.
It was great meeting you yesterday. Here's my contact info, because now it's not just that the ball is in their court, but also, you know, it's a way of anchoring your image in their minds, anchoring your name in their minds. Like, oh man, this is somebody that I've been talking. Oh yeah, that's right. I met such and such yesterday.
Exactly.
You know? Not just DJ such and such, which is awesome, by the way. Catch her at Jazz Up Friday this Friday at Breathe.
DJ such and such actually took over my job the last couple of days, and she was hosting on the stage and introducing the local talent and doing that stuff. So, because I had other things to do, so it was good stuff. Like
there's a lot of kids to love, y'all.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kids to love. So
it's good stuff, man. I was just really excited by all the things going on.
Right.
You know, so just keep that. If you got contacts, you got numbers, you know, send some updates. Hey, thanks. It was a pleasure meeting you this weekend. If you need any additional information about me and what I do, here it is. Here's my website. Here's my information. Here's my packet. Here's my music. Here's my headshots. Here's my stuff. Right. And just do that. And best of luck to you on that. So tonight, Bill Clinton is coming to San Antonio. I don't know if he's already here or what's going on with that, but he's
well, I'm not guessing he flying in like, you know,
5 minutes before the night.
Well, then again, he might. I don't know. That's one thing that I've learned over the years about wealthy people, right? So wealthy people spend a massive portion of their money on travel.
Oh yeah.
Like straight up. Like where people that don't have money spend a huge portion, and there is an actual quantifiable percentage that you could look up, but where that high percentage by people that don't have a lot of money is actually spent on living expenses. That same percentage of money, when you flip it to people that do have money, it's almost exactly the same rate is spent on travel by people with a lot of money. So private planes or whatever it might be. Sir, for dude to just fly into San Antonio real quick, jump in a motorcade, head on over to the thing, skip all the traffic lights because the airport is not that far from downtown, right? Right. So
it's not that.
I got it.
Relatively speaking, everything in San Antonio is 20 minutes away.
Okay, there you go. So if you don't have to hit the red lights, it's even closer, right?
Yeah.
Head on down to the convention center. Be reading your speech on the way over there. Be like, hey, NAACP, I love you with all my heart. Keep it sexy, kissy face. I'm out. And then jump back in the car, head back to the airport, and then home by 9, in bed by 9.
Absolutely.
Or maybe not, but maybe not 9, but in bed by midnight.
Right. Yeah. Whatever time it was over, or when he could get up on out of there.
And you don't got to go through security, and you don't know gonna get the,
none of that.
And you know, with us, they take special interest at the airport anyway. So yeah, none of that. And you know, it'll cost some money, but NAACP will probably pay for all that. You need gas money?
Yeah.
Here you go. Pow. Gas money and the honorarium. You guys know what an honorarium is? It was such a slap in the face to me when I learned what an honorarium is. That's the fee. That's the speaking fee, but they call it honorarium
yeah.
so that it's a different category.
Right.
But that's your fee.
So I can charge you for something else.
Right. So I can charge you.
That's the fee.
That's the fee.
Right.
I that slapped me in the face one time because I asked somebody to speak at an event that we were doing, And it was, yeah, Zay, no problem or whatever. Oh, is there a fee? No, dog. Just pay the honorarium and we'll be good. Pay the honorarium. So then I hit the assistant, and she like, that's basically the fee, Zay. That's okay. I was like, okay, that's the pretty word for fee?
Yeah.
Man, get out of here. I ain't giving you $10,000 to come and talk to some kids.
Is that I'm trying to get into that area where I can fly places, and then 45 minutes later I can leave places, and then
I know it's in the shot.
all that kind of stuff.
Then I can't see. Hold on.
They being. I'm gonna need y'all to stop over there. Thank you. He can't see. Could you look while you over there doing that? Could you look up with them glasses if there's any more tickets for tonight?
Tickets to
go to the fundraiser. I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about the people.
Be able to go to this thing?
I'm part of the band tonight, people. Sure, well, I'm going to see.
Okay, so there's media stuff, but the honest to goodness is when I read this, I did not read anywhere that you can purchase tickets for this, because this is not necessarily open to the public. This is a banquet that's for the people that were already at the NAACP, right? Yeah. So if you paid to go to the different functions and different talks and different.
But let's be honest about it, man. We always try to make last minute door sales. So I bet you there might be some ticket sales.
Okay, so this is to, he's presenting the Spring-On medal, or Spring-On?
The Spring-On? Like the Klingon?
Spring-On, S-P-R-I-N-G. No, Sping-On. S-P-I.
He's presenting an award.
A-R-N medalist, right? Okay. So that's a medal. And he's presenting the award to Willie Brown Jr. He's the two-term mayor of San Francisco and a renowned speaker of the California Assembly, and widely regarded as the most influential African-American politician of the late 20th century. And he's been at the center of California politics, government, and civic life for decades. So he's presenting the award to him tonight. He will address the NAACP members and delegates from across the country. And I don't see it's the award, Freedom Fund Awards Dinner. So the Springer medalist, Springer Thalheimer Freedom Fund Awards Dinner. So I am not guessing that this is open to anybody that just want to walk up and go to the ticket box and be like, hey.
Looks like you should have bought a convention ticket.
Maybe. I mean, unless this is, well, maybe, yeah. But I also can't imagine that if you just had any old tickets that you'd be able to go either. I'm sure that there's a very limited seating. I mean, limited chicken dinners. I don't know what they got up in there. It is a dinner. It's an awards banquet, right? So you get fed, and it's not a party, so to speak.
It is. There's the experience band's going to be up there, and they're playing twice.
Yeah, but it's a banquet, right?
Right, it's a banquet.
So imagine going to somebody's wedding. Or somebody's birthday.
Let's put it like this. Tickets might have been on sale. Tickets might have been on sale at some point, right. And maybe they're closed now because they've now made the announcement who's definitely going to be there. Right. Because usually they wait till you can't get in no more before they tell you.
Right. And I'm sure there's also a whole security situation too. That's why I'm thinking that it's not quite open to the public as you would want it to be. You know, there's a security situation. Secret Service still got this dude. Still follow this man.
I met the Secret Service agents, the CIA. It was the CIA. They had a booth at the career day.
Yeah.
Right. So me and the CIA agent, we was chopping it up, right?
Okay.
And he.
What do you say?
He had all the jokes.
What are the secrets? Where's the gold at?
First, he tried to give me a pin, and I was like, "You ain't finna bug me." He's like, "No, but if you click it twice, then if you click it 4 times," and I was like, "Way too funny."
You finna bug me?
Yeah.
You got a phone?
So then
you bug.
I told him that I was.
We don't need to bug you. You bug yourself.
You're too funny. Then I told him that I was a top agent spy.
Yeah.
And then I did some Red Team Go stuff behind him, and he was like, "What is going on right now?"
I wasn't trained for this. What is happening?
He was like, I don't. My wife doesn't even go back there. What's happening right now? What's happening? I was like, Red Team Go. my team. No, that's not how it work. I'm not hired. But I did learn something. I learned that the CIA is hiring for everything.
Okay.
Doctors, lawyers, gardeners, anything, every job, and any job that would run a community, they're hiring for, right? Because the CIA is its own little city.
Yeah.
And so everybody that works for or on the CIA needs to be a part of the CIA. So if you mow yards, you gonna be the CIA mowing food.
You need clearance and you need to get it. Now,
so
here's what's interesting about that, right? So what do you think the average person in our community's knee-jerk reaction is when they say, hey, CIA, when you tell them the CIA is hiring, what do you think the first thing they think is? Honestly.
The CIA is hiring.
Okay, CIA is hiring.
Say for spies.
CIA is hiring.
Who's the informant?
Boom.
The informer.
So you suddenly, there's already such a distrust. And then the further up you go in, like, I mean, there's a distrust, unfortunately, right? But there's a distrust of the police. And that's on our level, so to speak, right? Then the further up you go in law enforcement, FBI, CIA, all that stuff, it gets even more distrustful because of what we see on television, YouTube, the movies, whatever, right? So, unfortunately, in our communities, the knee-jerk reaction is, yo, you should go get a job at the CIA. CIA?
I'm not going to be no informer.
Or whatever. Even though you telling them we need doctors and lawyers and dentists and we need all that, right?
Right.
But the knee-jerk reaction is, oh, I'm going to CIA. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because other communities are fine to go and work for the CIA. That's why there's so much more of them in there than there is of us, because our knee-jerk reaction is, But yeah, go in there and take that over.
Yeah.
And you see how life gets so much easier when there's more of us as police, when there's more of us in taking up civic duties, when there's more of us as mayors and governors and presidents, when there's more of us in the Senate, whether it's state or federal, when there's more of us represented, you see how much better life gets.
Yeah.
But our knee-jerk reaction is, no, man, get in there.
He was talking about the fish that they put in there that was it looked just like a fish, but it was really controlled by whatever, and they videotaped.
I don't understand any of the words that you're saying.
You don't understand right? The fish? You don't never heard about the fish that was in the ocean and they recorded things, and that was took record of the fish, and it was look it up on YouTube. Anyway, he was talking about all that kind of stuff.
So there was a remote control fish, is what you're saying, that was created by who?
The CIA.
Okay, and what did they do? What did they do with the fish? Just one fish?
Put it in the water.
Just one fish?
And remote controlled its ass around and recorded stuff.
Okay. But I mean...
He was just telling me the story.
Okay, so it sounds to me like you could do that in middle school, though. Like, why? What's the big deal about their fish?
He was saying that, that happened a long time ago. So it was this big story about, how this, this fish that was recording things. And it's like, nothing safe, not even the ocean.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah. We made this fish, and we did that in the 90s. So, you can imagine what we can do today.
Oh, my God.
click on the pen, right? You know what I'm saying?
Click on the pen was probably the 60s. Today, we got people walking around remote control. You don't know.
That they are the click. Right. So,
how long you been alive? Well, I was born in the 80s. Okay. Before the 80s. You don't know what happened, right? You just be reading books. You ever hear of this God character? Huh? Like, what? Not my God. Oh, yours and others. Yours and others. I'm joking. Anyway, New Observer's out. Bip, bip, bip. Learn.
So it looks like
sorry,
Texas is going to get the Final Four in 2025.
Nice.
That's
the next go around, right? Look, we just had the Final Four recently.
Look, that's good because the NAACP ain't never coming back.
We need to drop a P and swap the C, and we need y'all to keep coming back. The NCAA. Okay, why?
Somebody's
coming. So. Yeah. Is it coming back to San Antonio?
I don't know. I haven't read it yet. The paper just
came. It says San Antonio, Texas, 2025 Final Four host.
Well, then you answered why you answer me questions that
because
you already
sitting
know?
In front of it.
He asking me all the questions.
So that's carry the one.
What year
okay,
is it? Look,
that's
what
7
year
years from now, right? So in 7 years they'll be back.
Yes.
They were just here, right?
When?
Wasn't the Final Four recently, like just here at the
I'm sure it was.
AT&T Center?
I remember it
Is
being
this
here.
not your?
I remember the Final Four being here. I remember when All Stars came. I remember when we had clubs. I remember the good times.
Okay, Nika, so my question is,
when you could club hop. You remember that and go to more than one place?
Weren't they here this year? Wasn't it just like 2 months ago or 3 months ago that the NCAA Final Four was in town?
Probably so.
Yes, is coming back. Why isn't the okay, Glow wants to know why the NAACP is not coming back. Oh my gosh. Oh, Mia Morris. If you could let us know where you got that information, that'd be great. As of this morning, there are tickets left for the dinner tonight.
I told you.
At $125 each.
I told you.
Yo,
I told you
who
that. I don't know. Don't worry about it.
Okay, don't call us on our personal when we on. My wife did this a couple times too. Call me like on my personal to just, what are you doing?
Right.
At least that's what it said. That's what when I heard the brrring, I was just like, that says, what are you doing? So I'm just gonna.
So yeah, so
125 a piece. That'd be great. Where do you get that though? Maybe the NAACP
okay,
website?
so look.
Maybe I should look up.
That's why I told him to look it up. I mean, I figured
well,
still
if you don't know when
because you know how like I was trying to tell y'all yesterday to go to the dang free part and go check out the vendors and stuff. Look at this cute. Y'all saw my bag? You saw my bag, right? So
we
cute.
saw your bag.
Yesterday, I got the phone case because stuff was like half off yesterday because, of course.
We ain't trying to take that back in the truck.
Right.
We want to leave it here.
Right. We ain't trying to do all that. So people was selling things. It was on sale. Everything was on sale. $5 here. Dude, get it at half off. Go. Just take it. So it was where it was at. And the free stuff, man, the job fair, like if you didn't get a job, like they was giving out some good stuff, like them good cups, not them bad cups, them good cups, good coffee cups, good bottles. Like I can't express it enough. I got like all kind of chargers, good chargers.
Okay.
I was like, man, y'all need to come get this.
Tell them
really good free stuff.
Tell them what was worth the most.
The T-Mobile free stuff.
Wow.
It was so good.
Wow.
It was pads and USBs and chargers.
What's happening
Man, it was so good. It was so good.
Tickets.
What were we talking about? What was I supposed to be telling them about? Them good deals?
Nothing. We all right. Just
so
let me do my.
Y'all should have been there on the last day.
Work.
Glow wants to know why they're not coming back. I mean, that's just my own. That was just my own assessment. No one said that, and as far as I have heard, but I feel like they're not coming back. I mean, it's got to be beneficial for all parties involved, and I don't think that all parties were benefited.
Well, maybe expand the definition of beneficial, right? Because who knows if this was beneficial for the NAACP at the national level, right? To still have, they were expecting to have X amount of people come, and when you look at the prices of some of the tickets. So some of those 10,000 that came from other places may have been enough, and then couple that with the breaks that they probably got, how much the convention center was, what the city was able to give them in terms of appeasement and parking and facilities. Very true. You never know.
You're very
it
right.
Might have been worth
all of those things, that the city did, if the city did give anything, anything happened or whatever, it happened under Mayor Ivy Taylor when she was in office. So there was. I'm not saying that other people might not have as much of an interest in trying to persuade them to come down again, but my assumption is that without the black mayor, might not happen the same, right?
You never know. Yeah.
You never know. No. But it all fit very nicely, right? Because there was a we're trying to convince you to come. It wasn't like they was like, hey, you know what? I think we're gonna go to San Antonio. No, it was a move to try to bring them to San Antonio, and there was a lot of things that made that move make sense. San Antonio's celebrating 100 years of our own chapter of NAACP this year, so you've got a century of a celebration.
3 centuries of the city being around. And
so you have
a lot of anniversaries.
So you have that anniversary going on, the 300. You also have a black mayor who was at the time bringing it in. You know what I'm saying? So you have a lot of pieces that make sense for the NAACP National Convention to say, yes, those pieces are now no longer in place like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hopefully it makes sense
I didn't say whatever, but that's just one side of it. That's just getting it here, because again, it wasn't like it was on the radar. So then you have, again, there's lots of different pieces to the convention, and you're right, the people who come down might be like, that might have been great because you have 10,000 people registered or whatever the stuff that's can be. But again, beneficial for everything, because money that comes in is vendors that pay, authors or people that want to be involved. So if the city, if they didn't sell anything, if they didn't get any response, if they didn't get, you understand what I'm saying? Then it's going to be like, well, where is it going to be at before I sign up and go do things and do whatever? So that's, from what I've seen, I'm like, it would be a 50-50 chance. I wouldn't think that we would see it here anytime soon. Now, God makes anything possible. God makes anything possible. I, as a person of faith, so
and also there is a people here, right? There is a drive here. There is, the San Antonio chapter can begin the conversation. The San Antonio NAACP chapter can begin the conversation as early as possible. I mean, if the Final Four is coming back, I mean, there were a lot of people that came from other places, plus the turnout from San Antonio. So yeah, there was a lot of attendance for the Final Four. But if the Final Four is coming back already, just having had one a couple of months ago, then those conversations started early. Right? Those conversations began early. So
there's no telling.
There's no telling. NAACP San Antonio chapter can begin those conversations if you get the people behind a movement to bring it back. I'm just saying. And like, we almost done talking to you people about this kind of stuff, right? But if you're able to motivate and get a movement, even if it's just a signature, right? Saying, look, Mr. Mayor, this is how many of us, you are everybody's mayor, right? So this is how many of us would love for this convention to come back. It's a convention. We ain't asking you to rename the East Side to
sweetie,
whatever. It's just, here's some signatures of registered voters. We all want this to come back. And then that's it. And maybe that's enough to get him to be like, yeah, let's open a conference. I'll take a meeting.
Sometimes I love Zay Zay.
Because you think it's ignorant though?
No, I just think you don't. You're not speaking out of ignorance. You're just speaking out of the hopefulness of what's going on. I'm coming from a place that knows a little bit more of stuff that people don't even know. You know what I'm saying? And really, if I can speak like I know how I want to speak, I feel like the reason why we did not have the success that we were supposed to have.
I'm already
right.
Wait. I know where it's going.
I'm just gonna be 5 seconds. Just you brought it. You asked.
I did ask. Go ahead.
I feel like a handful of people's egos kept from a city of success, and that's all I'll say.
A handful of people's egos kept a city from having success.
Meanwhile, tickets are on sale. $125. Go get your tickets so you can go see Bill Clinton give an award. I will be part of the band tonight. The Experience will be playing. It'll be awesome. Check out your Observer. You have nothing nice to say, you don't say anything at all.
The Experience on band, Nika on beatbox. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it. Let's move on from that then.
Huh?
Let's move on from that.
Yeah, I was done. You saw me reading the paper. My tea was done.
Oh, you were done.
I I was done.
Okay.
I feel like ego is definitely something that you got to check at the door when when there's a bigger, see, the Lord is like, I feel you, baby. Yeah, so you got to check that at the door when there's a bigger thing at stake. So,
Very cool.
He said very cool.
Very cool. It's very cool to leave your ego at the door. The door. The media hub, the One Media Hub is obviously on the back page, as we always are, to kind of show you what's happening in and around the city. And here's your calendar for the week.
It's great. We have got
Let's talk about it.
Line dancing today for Stephanie's line dancing. If you want to go check that out, if you've never been, it's great. It's only $5. Bring a friend. You have a great time. Karaoke. I have got to do karaoke. Like literally, I need some karaoke in my life.
In your life?
Man, we got to go. Karaoke on Thursday. We got to go. Jazz Up Friday, of course, is
tomorrow?
On Friday. Is that tomorrow already?
Thursday's tomorrow. Is that tomorrow?
Day 6.
Is that for no, that's Thursday 18th, which is today. Okay, so karaoke's tomorrow.
Yes. Jazz Up Friday.
Jazz Up Friday, of course.
It's going to be awesome.
Yes.
PM Soul, tons of people. Get there early. If you want some reservations, holler at your girl. I highly recommend you do the reservation thing. They have at least 100 plus folks come through with a PM Soul, like literally. So like, if you
and there was a little bit of a to do last Jazzed Up because there were so many people that the reservation area got a little mobbed, and we had to ask people to please come down from there. That's for people who paid attention.
Right. So. Like, and the reservations are free, but that doesn't mean you have free cover.
Right.
Stop that, y'all.
Right. Reservations are free,
but cover is $10.
Right. So all that means is we have reserved. You have reserved the right to sit here.
Right.
Like if you go to a restaurant and you get a reservation, that don't mean the food is free. That just means that you have reserved your spot, your corner where you can sit and eat your food. Right. If you get reservations for Jazzed Up, then all that means is we have reserved your seat.
See, he just told you now.
That's it. This is your spot.
It seems so simple.
Right.
They're two different words. They're not even the same word. But I got a reservation, and you still do.
Right.
But the cover is $10. Saturday is Que Pasa Art Social during the day, 2:00. Go check that out. Que Pasa.
Right. Pasa.
Boom.
The
Public Art San Antonio. There you go. And that's at Phil Hardburger at 2:00. Lion's Den is back inside of Breathe, so definitely go check out the Lion's Den. That is always a beautiful event, so go check that out. And then Blah Blah Poetry on Monday, and of course we always give you a place to go check out for lunch. And if you've never seen or went to Sweet Yams over here on the east side, organic, yummy, home cooked food, chicken, salmon, or shrimp in like 5 different tasty flavors. You know what I'm saying? So you have 5 different things that you can choose from, how you want them to cook it. Nice. Always comes with a nice salad, a brown grain rice, and then they have either organic tea or water.
Organic tea or water. So it's about eating healthy and feeding your body and your soul at the same time.
They grow the lettuce and stuff. They grow their vegetables and stuff that they cook with out there. And yeah, good stuff. And they also do those shakes and things that healthy people do, or people smoothies and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Felicia's asking, how do people get reservations for Jazzed Up Friday?
Felicia, well, you can do it right now. How many people do you need?
How do you get reservations for Jazzed Up Friday for those who don't know?
All you have to do is either you can call the station 210-560-2797. Don't do it right now, please. Thanks. And or you can leave a message on, like literally, it's that simple. Send me a message. So you can call the station or send a message to me, and we can get your reservation.
Can you get the reservation on the app yet? Is that part up yet?
You know, I will make that a situation. I like that. I do. What I need to do, it just made me think about something.
Okay, don't think about that. Just think about
like,
not yet.
We will. But you know what you will be able to do on the app?
What's that?
win some tickets to see Drew Hill.
Drew Hill, yeah.
What song's that?
How Deep Is Your Love?
Okay.
I think.
Because it was really, could be any song. He actually probably does that in every song.
Yeah, he does that in a lot of songs, right?
I got the end of it now. But look, Drew Hill's coming to town.
Okay.
And we've got your tickets. So on the app, one morning, it might be Friday, you know, we're just going to be like, go do the scratch off. And it's literally only going to be available during the time of our show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So you guys got to make sure
so
to tune in.
If you're not listening, yeah, that's been my favorite thing to tell people these days. Well, I didn't know. Well, you don't listen, so you're bad.
You should have listened. You should have listened.
I know you got to pull up with all of this crap just to get to the information.
And sorry, not sorry.
All right, what else is going on in the world?
Lots of stuff is going on in the world. Let's keep it away from the politics for a while.
Yeah, I don't really feel like talking because then
it's
Paul will show up.
It's just
look,
a lot.
Then Paul will show up, and then
there's nothing wrong with Paul calling in. There is nothing wrong with that. Okay, so you know how we talked a while back about.
That was funny. So, I gotta get some of this trail mix. It's good. Okay, all right, let's go.
No, actually, before we get to that, all right. Well, the date for the Grammy Awards has been announced, which is really cool, right?
Okay, what date is that?
So it's going to be in 2019. So February 10th will be the 61st annual Grammy Awards, and it's going to be live from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, which is cool. So they just announced that yesterday. It's going to air live on CBS in case you don't have tickets or airline or miles or to get to the Staples Center. Then you can watch it.
I'm thinking about this 61 years.
Was that?
I'm thinking about this 61 years of the Grammy Awards.
61 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah, man. A really long time.
Do you think there would ever be a time where, like, the Grammy Awards isn't a big deal? Kind of like visiting the White House for athletes? Or it's just not a big deal anymore?
No, I mean, not anytime soon for sure. There has to be a major shift. I mean, there's already been major shifts, but in the paradigm of wanting to be awarded for your work, there would have to be a major shift. And I think that, you know, everybody wants that Grammy, right?
Yeah, everybody wants to be awarded for their work.
Right. It's still a coveted thing. Everybody wants a Grammy. Everybody wants an Oscar. Everybody wants a Tony. If you're an actor on stage, everybody, you know, is always striving. Like, it's almost like that is the goal until you recognized at that level, right? Because they have poised themselves to be the most coveted award in the world for music, right?
Right.
Whether or not the award shows are boring, you know, Grammys have always had not always, but Grammys have had.
They're not the BET Awards, that's for sure.
They've had in recent years this kind of reputation for being a boring show, and they've changed it a bit over the past maybe 3 or 4 years, right? They've spruced it up. They made it so that some of the awards that nobody really knows who the nominees are. Okay, we'll do that off air,
right?
Or we'll do that the day before, because the Grammy Awards is actually a few days of awards, right? So like you'll get sound engineer awards and people that do Foley work. I mean, Grammys is really all about the auditory experience, right? So there's a lot of people, and just like the Oscars is really about the full movie going experience. It's not just about who's acting in them or who's directing them.
That's just what we see.
That's what we see. But they're, you know, the Grammy and or Oscar week is like really about a lot. Makeup people and designers, and I mean, they all have their own kind of awards ceremonies because there's so many people, right? Editors and mixers, and I mean, there's so many things, right? Lighting directors who you know, see they get Oscars too.
Yeah.
They get awards too.
Yeah.
So but as long as it's still like, as long as they've got the reputation for being the hardest one to get. Now, when you talk to Grammy winners, once they've reached that pinnacle, usually it's no big deal.
After that,
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, you work so hard, you want it, I need that Grammy, because it kind of gives you, it feels to so many artists like it is the legitimacy. Like, yes, I have my Grammy, I've made it, or I am legitimate, or I will go down in Hall of Fame history, or whatever it might be, right? And then when you talk to people that have them, or have multiple of them, then it's kind of like, okay, it's nice, but it's nice to be recognized. And some people just say, no, it's just, all it is was just that trophy. Like, there's nothing else that comes with it.
Right.
Sometimes you'll hear from some people, because
like, I didn't get a goodie bag.
or my career didn't necessarily get better because I had it. Right. So one of the quantifiable things that you see with people that win an Oscar is that their price tag goes up the next day, right? So that's kind of quantifiable. If you're a musician and you get a Grammy, your price tag might go up the next day, but it's not so quantifiable, because it still relies on, if your next album flops, then you're done.
Right.
If the people don't gravitate to your shows, then you're done. The Grammy is just like, okay, you did great this past year. Now, how do you continue that? Because all of this entertainment world is really reliant on
us liking
people's fickleness, right? People being fickle. It's like, you know what? I'm tired of seeing this dude's face. Or, you know what? I'm tired of the way this girl cries. Or I'm tired of the way this dude cries. Or, you know what? I'm just tired of these actors or these singers. I'm tired
this
of
type of
listening
plot,
to
this type of thing, this type of
take
whatever.
this off my playlist. And then all of a sudden, out of sight, out of mind, and then things begin to fizzle. So it really is a matter of how we get you to engage and how we stay likable to stay relevant.
And I guess, and they always say too, actors will be like, when you have that, were they 30 minutes or is it 60 minutes of fame? How many minutes is it? 15 minutes of fame or whatever. But you ride that wave when you are the hot thing or when you are the it thing.
Right.
Because as we have, or maybe you've noticed, or maybe you haven't noticed, like Tiffany Haddish is it right now. She's literally in 4 movies. Yeah. I'm like, I was watching a movie and there was 3 previews of her movie. I thought it was Kevin Hart for a second. I was like, wait, what's going on? Oh, right. I said,
and one look at me with Kevin Hart.
Right, and one. That's exactly what my thought was. I said he is passing the baton. Right. Oh my God. And he might not want to pass it, but media will pass it for you.
There could be a male version and a female version.
And that's what she is right now. She is the female version of Kevin Hart. And it was just, I was sitting there and I was like, Tiffany again. It's Tiffany again.
Yeah.
Tiffany? Yeah. Tiffany with Kevin. Tiffany and I was like, okay. I said, well, she's definitely at that point where like, you need to get it, sister. And literally I have a friend that was trying to bring her down to do a show. And it was like, in his mind, he was like, I gotta get her before. Yeah, I hope you got that. I hope you got it before, because her price tag done went up.
Price tag goes up. And if she wins an award for best comedic actress or something like that, and next year's Oscars or whatever it might be,
it's
like
it's
then
done.
The price tag truly goes up. But that price tag only lasts as long as the next movie.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
because
so your price tag just went up from $3 million to $12 million. Great, pay you your $12 million. Yeah. If this $12 million flops.
Because that's true. Because when you're even doing when you're even doing the club tour, and I mean when I say club tour, I mean like hosting different clubs. Like you'll see a Cardi B, what she used to have to do before she actually got her big song. You know what I'm saying? Because there was another person that was trying to get Cardi B too, and it was like, I'm trying to get it before, and then the song hit #1. Did you get it before?
Right.
And if you can't move fast enough, because on the other side, they're thinking, don't book anything until the song comes out. Don't book anything until the rankings come out, or hold off a couple of weeks before this drops and then start doing it, because they know the same thing. So you
can't be headlining at a club to perform a show with the #1 song in the country, but I'm only getting $500 to be here,
or $5,000.
Or 5,000. I got the number one
For
song
that
in the country.
matter.
Like, and then if you X out of it and you say, nah, I'm not going to do that for this, then you're bad business
Right, but
practices because you
bougie.
said you would.
Now you bougie. Now you're
not going to do
now you
it.
got an attitude. So you have some artists now that are, you know, the old school 90s artists or the old school artist period that we used to like, or maybe it was in the 2000s or whatever. They're not in the hot commodity right now.
Right, because 10 years ago it wasn't the 90s, and sometimes we still make that mistake.
We still feel like that.
What was hot 10 years ago? Let me see, 1990? No. 2008
right,
was 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Ago was 2008.
So 90s, you really aging yourself right now. 80s, you really, Grandpa? So
wow. Don't say it like that. There's some 2008s that are grandpas right now.
Of course,
crazy.
Of course,
crazy.
So
I remember my grandpa used to be 60.
That there was somebody trying to bring some artists down, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we just want 4,000," and we was like, "For what? Your last hit was." Even though you bigger and whatever, and you are a star, and everybody wanted you, might be maybe 6 years ago, or it could have been 18 months ago. But because everybody doesn't want you now, I'm not even paying that $4,000.
Really?
And that's what a lot of.
I mean, is that a real number? Though?
Yeah,
4,000.
Like it was.
Like you wouldn't pay Drew Hill I'm not saying that that's what they're getting,
right?
Because I don't know what they're getting, but you wouldn't pay Drew Hill $4,000 to come and
perform?
perform?
I think Drew Hill, because there's 4 of them. Yeah, no, they're getting more. But there's been people like, oh dang, I can't freaking remember their names, but like an R&B singer that's one person. You know what I'm saying? And they'll be like, oh, you know,
would you give? Well, he's still relevant though. I was gonna say like
God,
I'm thinking back
because
like
I can't
Joe,
think of his name right now because he wanted
Kenny
like
Lattimore,
he wanted like
or
8,000 or 7,000. I was like,
Aaron Hall. Would you give Aaron Hall $8,000?
No, absolutely not.
You wouldn't give Aaron Hall $8,000?
I couldn't because not for San Antonio. Would y'all go see Aaron Hall?
You wouldn't go see Aaron Hall?
I don't know. What's the ticket price?
I got it.
Like
so there's just certain. I mean, I ask you because you have experience in this room.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about.
And I know. It's like I'm gonna dissect it. Like, you know.
Would you give Aaron Hall $5,000 to come perform? Perform at your club? Oh, but it has a lot to do with who's going to see and how many tickets am I going to sell. I guess
all of that, right?
Okay.
So it's so yeah. I'm not saying he's not worth $5,000. Right. That's great, but again, I've only got like 4 places to choose from. They only hold so many people, and then that means the people who would come, right? I gotta fill them. People who would go see Aaron Hall, right? And then if I do have the folks that do love him and they want to see him, I got to make sure I'm not charging them $60 to go to a freaking club that they were at last week for $8, right? Even if there's a famous person in there, like the mentality here, it don't click.
They're not doing
it don't. Okay. They that like literally.
I was here for $8.
I was in this building for $5 yesterday. Yeah, woman, but Bill Clinton wasn't here. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it is the same building, but there's a famous person in here now.
I was in here for free yesterday. Yeah, but we weren't having a banquet in here yesterday, where Bill Clinton's coming and there's a band and food and whatever. But I was here for free yesterday. I should have just stayed in here.
So that's what they do when they come to Jazz Dub Friday. But this bar
here, Morris says she'd go see. She would pay, I guess, $5,000 for. Oh, she would go see Aaron Hall.
Who?
Mia Morris.
Mia would go to everything because she's the community supporter.
She just enjoys supporting.
She's the city supporter.
Okay.
If you walk in and be like, I'm doing this and I need some volunteers, she'd be like, what time would you like me to ride? Is that a ticket? I'll put $10 on it. Like we had to walk around the author booth. Like I had to be like this
because Mia was gonna buy all the books.
And me, because you talk to the people in their story and they're there and nobody's there and you know that they done drove and traveled and they got their books in it. Then you'd be like, how much is it? It's $32. You'd be like, here's a $5 donation. I can't buy all y'all books, man. I didn't read like that.
$5 donation. Mia's
but
cute.
like, yeah. So. Yeah, it's not gonna work like that, man. I don't know. It's
Glow
just so
just
many
said
things.
About 5 years ago, Belle Biv DeVoe wanted $50,000.
Who? How
Belle
much?
Biv DeVoe wanted $50K. As much as I love them, I laughed the manager off on the phone. I was like, Ninja, this ain't 1992.
at the end of the day.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Now look at it from the opposite point of view. Somebody's giving them 50 grand. Maybe not San Antonio will give them 50 grand, but that's not for him. It's not an unreasonable price, maybe, or her. It's not an unreasonable price because they're getting somebody's paying that, right. And 3 people, you got Bell, Biv, and DeVoe
that you got to pay, and their managers and everything else, and the musicians and their hotel. That's separate.
The Biv 10 empire isn't small, or it wasn't small.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So maybe,
and again, that's what's wrong with the San Antonio market, and that's what most people don't get. So our biggest problem is we're too indecisive of who the heck we want. Like I'm sorry, that's not even it. We want certain people at discount prices. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, why are we not getting Jill Scott and Erykah Badu and woo? Okay, but you also want to pay a $35 ticket for those same folks. Now, there's plenty of people that will pay a real price, but not enough people, right? And then our venues go from 500 to 50,000. There's no in-between numbers. So you might get all the way to 2,300 people seated, and then from 2,300 you go there to 10,000. So no 5,000 venue or that kind of thing, to where you could put a reasonable price on something and be able to sell enough tickets to pay for whoever we want to bring down. Right. So that becomes an issue, because if I'm going to bring Erykah or Jill or whatever, and I can't put her in the 100,000 people venue,
right?
Because that one costs off grip thousands.
But will you also sell 100,000 tickets to go see Jill Scott in San Antonio?
Well, no, because most people might think so, but again, inside conversations with the people, the Illusion Center has never sold out. Rock band, country band, Tejano band, whatever, has never, and that's like 10,000.
Oh, it's 10,000.
That's 10,000, and then the whole AT&T Center, I think, is like almost, what is it, like 60 or something like that, whatever it is. That's when Kevin Hart.
Only for sports will it sell out.
Right. So 10,000 for that's usually when the concerts come.
Okay.
And they try. So the most that they've ever gotten was like 8,500 or 8,800, which is still good, but it's never sold out all the way from any genre. So most people will be like,
so if Jay-Z and Beyonce bring the On the Run tour,
Jay-Z and Beyonce, once Jay-Z came, he was in the whole AT&T Center.
Okay,
that's different. So
and that's stadium
Kevin
size.
Hart,
that's not like
right.
Well, no. That's the Alamo Dome is stadium, but then the AT&T Center's arena.
Right.
So he booked out the arena. Was he sold out?
Yes. Okay. Everybody that's like that sells out. Justin, Kevin. Jay-Z, right? So you got national act versus the dude who was out in the 90s or that's still popular or whatever the case may be. But we don't have the money to do the arena. Right. So we would have to do a smaller place. So then you do the Illusions theater part, which is 10,000, but then you still got it, but you're never selling out, and the money ticket that you have to pay. So just to let you in, 25,000 down just to rent, 25,000 down just for lights and sound to set that up, because they have to put the curtains, because obviously you're not using the whole place. They've got to put the stuff in. So you dropping 50 without even doing anything yet.
Plus whatever the
artist is coming. You haven't booked the artist yet. You haven't even booked your actual hourly sound and lighting people yet.
Wait a minute, so why do you
it's all for the setup to turn it into a smaller theater.
Oh, 50 grand to turn it into a theater, to make it a theater.
For 10,000.
For 10,000 people. And there's no other venue in the city that houses 10,000 people?
Not that I know of, no.
Oh, wow.
Everything else, the next highest you go is 22,000. 2,200, excuse me.
2,200. So 1,000 people, 2,200 people.
1,800, you got the 1,800, yeah.
Or if you need 10,000, then you have to do that.
Boom.
Interesting.
So
then it costs you 50 grand just to make it so that you can
make it get on.
So that you can only use 10,000 people.
And then
will the arena is that at the arena or is that at the Alamo Dome?
That's at the Alamo Dome.
Would the arena allow you to do anything?
They smalling it too, but they're still talking big cash.
Still talking 50
You're still
grand.
talking, and you got to be outside or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's ways that you can fix it and make it work, but that's when either ticket prices are going to go up or something's going to have to adjust to be able to make things work. And then we have to say, people, please don't wait till the week of to buy the tickets. Because that's San Antonio's best thing to do. They're going to wait till the week of, whether or not they here in town or they got their money or whatever, done here, or whatever reason they wait till.
Unless it's one of these big acts where there's a fear that they're not going to be able to get a ticket.
And most of the time, that's not us. And when you went to Kevin Hart, you didn't see a arena full of black people.
Right.
It's an arena full of white folks.
Well, it has to be diverse in order to get that many people, because
it's like a Spurs game. Everybody's there. The community, the entire community is there.
I mean, but I don't think there's enough to fill the Alamo Dome.
Well, most people will say that people travel. You know, well, people gonna travel from Houston, and that's how people think. You know what I'm saying? When I put something on. Right. That's not gonna happen. That's how people think. In their mind.
Houston will just wait until it gets there.
Right. Or whatever. But you have a lot of out Killeen and little places, you know what I'm saying, that have plenty of folks that don't have nothing that will travel to San Antonio. Even like Corpus Christi, they ain't got nothing. Okay. And Corpus is 2 hours away. So if Erykah Badu or somebody's coming to San Antonio, they could come here to see it.
Got it.
You know, because they ain't going to Corpus.
Right.
So Galveston.
Right.
Texas City. They ain't going to none of them places, you know what I'm saying? So all those people generally could travel down here to come see something like that. But we're not known as a city to do things like that. And the city, because it's hard for us to realize that, okay, hey, this is coming down. Let me get my ticket. Let me do this. Let me do that. Because those ticket sales generate revenue to work on to get the advertisement that y'all need to see, to get whatever. And it's like, boom, it all kind of works together. But again, I'm trying to teach. That's the only reason why I'm telling y'all this.
I got it. All right. That's an amazing. I'm sorry for the dead air. That's an amazing kind of paradigm to live in.
It is. And I mean, I guess it's because, you know, everybody's like, why can't we get this? And then people don't understand because they don't understand the difficulties behind trying to book or do or whatever and all the money behind it. And then it's like, where is this money supposed to come from? And then you want to be fickle. Drew Hill coming? Well, is Cisco coming? Because I ain't going if Cisco ain't coming. You know? Right, stuff like that. And then it's like, if I can't do something a little bit smaller to build to that, to get to a Jill Scott, to get to something, then we'll never get it. And we can, you know, whine about it all day long, because that's what it ends up sounding like to everybody. Are they just whining and complaining? Why can't they just bring it? Because I got to put $75,000 down. Anybody want to?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got to put $125,000 down. And people who have that type of money, well, I'll give it to you, but I want it all back times 3, and you got to do all the work. And, you know, it becomes an unfair arrangement. So where are the people that are trying to rise together to say, you put in the money, I'll put in the work, together we rise, you know, whatever the case may be. Yeah. It's hard to find those relationships, because if it wasn't hard to find, we would have been done had Jill Scott, Erykah Badu, and Aaron Hall, or whoever the hell else wanted to come down. Aaron Hall did come down here, a little skinny ass. But okay, we would have more.
All right.
So if
it was easy, it'd be done.
It would be being done, but it's not. So that's why we get stuff sparingly.
Okay.
When people can make it happen.
I understand. Well, let's see if we can't change some of that.
We try.
Let's see if we can't change some of that. I mean, in spite of, right? Let's be honest. It has to. I mean, we got to be able to succeed in spite of.
Absolutely.
Those that don't support. Right? You got to be able to succeed regardless.
Well, I think that the conversation should be that we can do things. Always positive. That's what I told Paul yesterday. He said, but you know, we can't do it alone. No, we can do it alone. We just don't choose to. How about that? Black people can't do it without white people. No, we can do it. But we just want to include like, why do we put the rhetoric of we can't? As long as we keep saying that we can't, we won't. We'll never. But to you to tell me that black people don't have the intelligence, the power, the money, the ability to do things on our own, it just makes me be like, really? Like, who says that? It's almost like saying self ain't good enough.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not saying that we have to do that. And I'm not saying that we leave other races and people out. But can't your rhetoric be that we can do it if we want to?
Yeah.
We just don't choose to. We want you with us.
Right. We want you with us.
We want to be that.
All right. Continuing on with some of the news. Michelle Williams from Destiny's Child actually checked into a mental health center for depression. So she's apparently been battling some depression, and lots of people, lots of other celebrities are coming out and tweeting about it and saying that they're with her and they're supporting her and stuff. But depression is a real thing. It's a real thing among everybody. There is no that doesn't really affect my family or my school or my community or my city or no, it affects everyone, and equally everyone is susceptible to it, right? Because society is everybody's issue, right? And how those things affect you. Everybody has a body, everybody has a mind, everybody has a soul. All those things can be affected because everybody lives on Earth.
And it doesn't matter. I think there's such a misconception that people who are either rich or celebrities or most popular or whatever don't go through depression and don't go through those things. And I think that if they go through depression just as much as the guy who has no friends and wants to belong and wants to be accepted, like it's literally the same, just on the opposite side of the rod. But
it is, and it's just like Biggie said, more money, more problems, right? So money does help, and it helps solves a lot of our current problems, right? If you don't have money, becoming moneyed can help you to solve the problems that you're dealing with in the moment. However, it does itself also come with its own baggage. Money comes with baggage. Money comes with issues. Money comes, if somebody gave you, you have all these issues right now, let's say, God forbid, but if you had all the issues of, I can't make ends meet, I don't have enough money to go to the supermarket, I don't have enough to, when you don't have money, money is usually, the lack of it is usually what is your biggest problem in life, right? And that leads to a lot of other things. Well, there's unhappiness in the house, and it's marriages a lot of times break up because of money issues. And not because I don't love you, not because of whatever, but because we have issues with money, and that sparks anger on the side of each spouse, and each one of them looks at the other one a little bit differently, and then it turns into another thing, right? So that's why you need to have teamwork in a marriage in order to say, okay, it's you and I against the world. And if you can't hold on to that relationship, then eventually there becomes a split as soon as money becomes an issue, right? So if somebody said tomorrow you can have everything Jeff Bezos has, and it's like, oh my gosh, Jeff Bezos, if you don't know and you haven't heard, has just been named the wealthiest man in modern history, not just in the world currently, but the wealthiest man in modern history. He is now worth something like $158 billion. Now his money is also tied very closely to Amazon. So as Amazon stock rises and drops, so is his worth, right? Yeah. But Amazon is currently worth so much that even on a bad day, on a good day, he'll go up 5 billion, and on a bad day, he'll also lose lose worth of $5 to $10 billion. Like, that's how big the swings are when you're at that level, right? So anyway, so if somebody says, I am going to give you $158 billion, so all your current problems are gone, right?
Yeah, but I already see problems on the rise.
It's a matter of perspective. It's a matter of perspective, because if you get a huge injection of money, great. I solved all my current problems.
I no longer have to worry about rent.
I no longer have to worry about rent, where food is coming from, where whatever's coming from, right? But now you're dealing with a situation where, and it's hard to imagine when you don't have it, but there are problems and baggage that come with having massive amounts of money. Now you're worried about, I currently employ, 3 million people. Like, if you have that kind of money, you know what? There's 3 million people that now they're depending on me because they have to pay their rent and their food and feed their families.
Wrong thing,
and
you got lawsuits, you got people trying to come after you, got family members. I mean, there's so much stuff. But you know that,
I mean,
just
not
like
just,
you
but
said,
what I was getting at is that it's not even just a personal thing. Now you have to also deal with other people's issues. Right? Oh, yeah. So now I have 2 million people that depend on me for health care. Well, I'm going to go in here because I don't like these people, but now I got to watch my mouth, because then 2 million people could be without health care by this afternoon.
By what you said.
By just
Roseanne Barr.
Just what I said. And then suddenly, or I'm worth $158 billion right now, but I make the wrong move and I slip, and then suddenly I'm no longer worth $158 billion because now nobody's buying anything from Amazon. Now there's a boycott. Now there's a this and that, and it's all closely tied to Amazon. Yeah. And if that company fails, that's a lot of pressure too. Right? So just not even your personal kind of like, oh, people trying to get me or what have you. Just think about all the effect that you have in the world and how many other people are depending on you. And even the smallest things you do are now under a microscope, make a huge difference. So that's a whole, now do you want to be scrutinized like that?
That's kind of like,
or do you just want to go and make sure that you keep your job so you can pay your rent? And
that's kind of like you want to parallel that to relationships. Oh, I want a man, and who I would love, the man and that's famous and this and that and that, and then look at Meghan Markle's situation. You know, she was just a pretty girl, did this and that. Now they're looking at how you crossed the legs. Now they're looking at how you did this. Like,
I want to be a princess.
I didn't know if I wanted to be a princess like that.
You want to be a princess? Every girl wants to be a princess. Okay, go.
But most
and it's
people,
like, oh crap, I'm a princess.
I feel like most people do say like what you were saying. Once they get there, it's kind of like, you know, it's just a trophy, or and I'm not saying, but you know what I'm saying, like
you realize that it's a different.
You see the other side of it. All we see is the glitz and glamour of it. Right. So when you do get that person that's like, well, it ain't all glitz and glamour, because there is a complete shadow.
So I read an article. You said Meghan Markle. I read an article the other day that made me. I didn't know. Because I didn't know the author, so I didn't know exactly what to think about it. But in this article, they basically said that, I think it was her dad. I think they said they interviewed her dad, and her dad made a comment during the interview that he feels like she's having such a hard time of it that she feels imprisoned. And I was like, what? And I kept reading, and imprisoned. And it's like, if you look at my daughter's smile in all these new pictures, she looks terrified and like she's imprisoned and like she would rather be anywhere else. And I was like, really? So then I started to peruse just a couple of, and there's a difference between smiling like this.
Like this, that smile, that all.
And then this one, like.
Y'all remember?
That's a different smile.
Y'all remember 45s, 82s, whatever his name is, his wife, when he was getting sworn in for president, and how she was looking in the background?
What are we talking about? 45, 82? You don't want to say.
You know I don't like saying the man's name. Now I don't even want to say his number.
I'm like 82. That's where you lost me.
45 divided by 6.
So. So yeah, so
you remember her
she
face
always looks like she don't want to be there.
Right.
Yeah, like I don't want to be here.
But and then everybody be trying to read into.
I don't
the
care. Do you? Sorry.
But I wouldn't say that she necessarily, and I don't know, because that's someone who's close to her. So that's, you know, that's how they see it. But I know that there's definitely could be a difference, because there is so many rules to the game that I've got to follow, and I don't even remember number 2. What's number 7? What was I supposed to do? How was I supposed to open the door?
Right.
And then there's such little minute things too, a lot of things that she has to do, that it's like, oh, I can't remember. Left to right, right to left, twerk it out, I don't know.
Okay.
Let's see her smile.
So let's see the smile, all right?
All of those are good smiles. Does she look entrapped right there?
I think this is if I'm not mistaken, this one is let me show everybody. If I'm not mistaken, this is I'm a princess. Right? And then, hold on. Are you guys seeing this? I'm going to make sure you guys, okay, they're seeing this. I'm a princess, and then post, I'm a princess. Is this one? That one is also, I think, pre. I think that shows that she has what it takes. Hold on. We got to find some actual definitive ones. But if you look at all, like half of them are just crazy. Like, they're not very expressive. Like, that's expressive. Like, oh my gosh, so funny. Like, even look at this. And it's like, yay, I'm a princess. You know what I mean? But
like, to me, that's a big smile.
He's saying that lately, let me get out of this and then let me find the actual let me find something that we know is today. Oh, boom, Meghan Markle. They picked up the story 2 days ago. Page 6 picked up the story 2 days ago that says Meghan Markle.
Oh, that smile. That definitely looks like it.
Her smile.
You don't know what part.
He says that she's hiding fear, stress, and the pressure of adjusting to her new royal blah, blah,
With
blah.
that, to me, that you don't know when that, you know what I'm saying, when there's a capturing. That could have been, she just stepped in a muddy pile. She was like, oh goodness. What is that?
Yeah, but like every other picture.
What I'm saying? I don't know.
No, that's not every. Look at that.
She looked tired there.
That's tired. Anyway, I mean, I don't want to start nothing, but basically the father was just saying, look, that my daughter is going through it right now. Like, you know, she's afraid. She don't want to be there. She's like, I'm a princess. Crap, you know? It ain't all, I mean, even I don't know any princess names in Disney. What are their names?
I don't know. I didn't do too much of that princess thing growing up. Okay. I was a karate girl. I was in martial arts.
Don't hurt them.
Yeah, I don't know.
So anyway, that was just an interesting article I read the other day about Meghan.
Oh, Megan, hope you're doing good, sweetie.
I hope you're doing good. Yeah, you're a princess. Once you get through the rigors of, you know, don't walk in front of the. I mean, there's a million rules and a million.
Right,
things.
trying to figure it out.
I'm pretty sure once she's got it.
And you know, all the photos and the people and the this and that too. Like, when do you get a vacation from the vacation from the vacation? Like, goodness.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, it's also, I think right now there's just a lot of hoopla, but I'm sure in a while it'll kind of settle and
we'll see.
Because look, Meghan Markle came through. What's the name of Prince Harry? What's the name of Prince William's wife? Exactly.
Look at me.
Exactly. Right? she was the, you know, and then the kids and the new prince baby that could be king and the new this and a lot of hoopla, and then it all just went. Yeah. Only thing is that she's American, so of course that kind of solidifies. And she's black, and that of course solidifies the whole American interest in it. But I still think, like, why are we so interested in
she's black.
The British monarchy? No, just as a country. Oh. Like, there's always so much news about if something happens, somebody sneezes weird in the British monarchy, then we're all, you know, we fought them to get away from them, but we're still kind of enthralled by
what's
200 years later.
I don't know, child.
I mean, I
don't have to worry about me.
It's a special relationship.
You don't have to worry about me. I don't care.
But did you watch this wedding?
No.
Did you care about any of the clips or seeing any of the stuff? Wasn't your thing.
I just think that she's a pretty girl. And
she's,
you know,
she can get it. Okay. Was that inappropriate? I don't know. Honey, I'm sorry if you're listening. If not, she can get it. Okay. Okay, so here's an issue.
Oh my goodness.
MGM, you know who MGM is,
yes,
right?
Yes, I do. What are they doing?
They own the I think it's the MGM Grand, right, in Las Vegas. They own MGM Resorts, which I should say MGM Resorts International, and MGM Resorts International owns the Mandalay Bay. Mandalay Bay was where that shooter took up residence during the Las Vegas shooting. Okay, so and I want to read this because I want to get this just right, because it's hard to assimilate the way some people think.
This is true.
Okay? Mm-hmm. So I want to read it.
You're right about that.
So I want to read it so that my emotions don't get into it, and also you can see how it's being presented.
Okay.
MGM Resorts International, which owns the Mandalay Bay Hotel and the site of the Route 91 Festival, where the shooting happened, right, has actually filed federal lawsuits against more than 1,000 victims of last year's mass shooting in Las Vegas. So the Mandalay Bay's owners, MGM, has filed lawsuits against the victims,
the people who were
getting shot at,
that had bought the tickets and attended the event and got shot at. They are suing them.
They're bringing lawsuits against the victims, right? The company is looking to avoid liability in the October 1st shooting that left 58 concertgoers dead and hundreds more injured. This is all according to the Las Vegas Review-Journal. MGM claims that it isn't at fault because the security vendor it hired had followed protocol approved by the Department of Homeland Security with the purpose of protecting against and responding to acts of mass injury and destruction. The complaint argues that it's covered by a 2002 federal act that extends liability protections to any company that uses anti-terrorism technology or services that help prevent and respond to mass violence. Contemporary Services Corporation, which is that company, the firm that MGM hired for the Route 91 concert, has been certified by the Department of Homeland Security, leading MGM to argue that it too should be protected and should have no liability in any kind to defendants. MGM wants a judge to determine whether the 2002 act passed in the wake of September 11th. So that all this Homeland Security stuff, if you remember, it all came to be right after September 11th. They want a judge to determine whether the act is applicable to the Route 91 shootings. The company is not seeking money from the victims. Okay, they just want to make sure that they don't get sued by the victims.
So they're suing them first.
Right. So they need to bring the lawsuit in order to bring it to a judge where the judge could say, okay, you guys cannot sue the MGM Resorts International.
Did anybody sue them?
Well, so part of the issue is that as information continues to come out, because they're all different groups that have lawyers and stuff like that, right? To test to see. Right. So part of the issue is that they're saying you guys, MGM or the Mandalay Bay, allowed this dude to come in with 1 million guns and 1 million things and set up shop in your thing. Where was your security? How do you allow somebody to come in with assault rifles and bump stocks and all that stuff? You let this dude check in. The bellhops helped you with the stuff out the car. They actually helped you take it all up to the room, and you killed 58 people and injured hundreds of other people.
From a conspiracy theorist standpoint, right?
So that's kind of, so the being sued part of it is something that they're trying to. Wow. I'll talk about it after. Okay, fine. You win, honey. So from that standpoint, they want to bring the suit to a judge so that the judge can say, you guys aren't allowed to sue MGM.
I mean, I got you.
But they're also framing it in such a way that they're saying basically a long and drawn out lawsuit is not good for anybody. So in a way, we're protecting the victims from that hell of a long drawn out lawsuit. So they're also framing it in that way, saying basically they're doing you a favor by suing you. They're not asking you for money. They're not trying to get money from you. They're just trying to get it so that you can't sue them. And that is what's currently happening there. What say you?
I say, from a conspiracy standpoint,
Get some of that.
sounds pretty much like pretty right.
Yeah. Okay. That's enough of that. All right. Continuing on. No, but it's nuts, right? Like, I'm trying to protect all my millions of dollars, and I don't want, all my billions of dollars, right? Because an average casino that goes up nowadays, or a hotel and casino, these buildings cost billions of dollars now, right? So if you have all this money and you don't want 1,000 people to sue you or thousands of people to sue
I'm gonna
you,
sue you first.
Yeah, but is that right?
I mean,
maybe the preemptive, and I don't know because I don't have billions of dollars, and I'm not also in this kind of situation. But maybe the move is, let me offer you some money for your hardship. Anybody have any funeral expenses? Anybody have, like, be philanthropic and not philanthropic, but feel responsible and be an activist in your giving to somebody who went through it like this. Would have cost you a lot less, right? Let's pay for these 58 funerals. Let's pay for these hundreds of people that went to the hospital. Are you guys okay? You know, there's so much you can give to a community to ease a pain. I mean, there's nothing you can give anybody to ease the pain of losing a loved one, but you can certainly try to make it better in good faith. And then these people wouldn't even be thinking about suing you because, like, well, they went ahead and they paid for this and that and this and that, and thank you.
Now, Americans will always think about suing you, even when you're nice. In fact, that's when they sue you, when you're nice. I feel like when you're extra nice. You think so? Absolutely.
But I think it will cost them more now, even in just the PR value of it. Wait a minute. So MGM is suing victims right now? Like, think about the PR. Even if it's going to happen, which it might now happen anyway. I don't see a judge really saying, okay, yeah, you're suing them and you want me to say that you're not liable for anything unless there's some real something going on, because anything can happen in this country. I don't see a judge really saying no, you know, to the victims and people that died and whatever. You're part of a massacre, you know, and the dude was shooting you from the MGM, and MGM people helped this dude bring the guns in, whether they knew or not that these were guns. But apparently this is also not the first time that this happened. Can I just tell you that? Apparently a few years back, there was a same situation where somebody had all these guns set up, and he was actually pointed at the Strip, the Vegas Strip. And it was an MGM, a maid that came in and saw the stuff, and she called the police and the FBI and was like, yo, there's a guy in here. And that one was thwarted. But they did the same thing. They helped do, you know, okay, well, all these guys, let's help you bring them upstairs, sir. May I please have $5 as my tip for helping you bring all these AK-47s into your room?
Look, you know me, I'm like, I just, there's certain things that I'm 50% conspiracy theorist person, and I'm 50%, all right, well, whatever, anything could happen, but I don't put anything past anything. And when people have, like, people get in trouble, people get caught, people get whatever for the dumbest stuff, like the dumbest stuff. Okay. But then weapons of mass destruction and all this stuff go through the security with no bings, right? Like, sometimes you have to know criminals and know people with criminal minds to know that people do stuff, right? They plan stuff out, they do stuff out, people are involved. And when you can get past securities and things of those such, and glasses that don't break, and when glass does break, why didn't the alarms go off, and why didn't stuff go off, and why didn't things happen? So if that lawsuit does go through, because it does seem like it would be ridiculous, I'll be like, proves my point that more people are involved in stuff than one guy. That one guy that we arrested and we put away, it's okay, America, we safe, we got that one guy. I don't believe it's ever one guy. There's too much stuff. There's too many moving parts. There needs two people to take something from the convenience store. You hear me? I need you to talk to the dude at the counter while I go get this bubble gum. And these 10-year-olds that do stuff like that. Yeah. You're talking about major operations with tons of guns and tons of this and breaking security and getting through this and getting through that. And it was only one guy. I don't believe that. Well, but I got a little bit of a criminal mind, you know what I'm saying? So, well,
I can kind of see how that. I mean, I've never been to Las Vegas, believe it or not. I've never been there. But I mean, your average posh hotel, they don't necessarily. I mean, in New York City, you're not walking in to metal detectors and stuff like that. You're just walking into the hotel, and you bring whatever you bring upstairs. Like, if you carrying it on your own. I've never been stopped in a hotel. I mean, I don't know how it is here because I've never stayed in a hotel in San Antonio, but. You know, you grab your bag and you go upstairs, and you know. But there was a lot of things that happened. I just don't know how. What do the cases look like for like a rifle? I mean, I'm guessing it's rifle shaped, right?
Yeah, it depends. It depends because everything breaks down. It's not like an actual case. You break down your guns and stuff. So it can be in
regular.
Cameras, it can be anything.
Be telescope equipment.
Yeah.
It could be.
So I mean again, you can't put that in the liability and the fault of the bellhop because you don't want the bellhop going through your bag. You gonna cuss the bellhop out if he's like, I'm gonna need to take your bags because I'm not gonna help you take no mass destruction up to your room. So I need to check it. That's not gonna happen on the everyday citizen.
It's not gonna happen.
So how you gonna sue somebody for that situation? Don't make no sense. You're not finna put that on me. But when people know that there's more than one person involved and people know that there's moving parts, let's protect the moving parts. And we put this out there so that's everything's protected and we can keep it pushing. Right. Ain't nobody paying attention, no way. We just throw these distractions, and that's what people always say. Oh, what's today's distraction? What are we talking about today? Childish Gambino, what's today's dance? While we go do all this stuff. And because things seem so inhumane, we're like, there's no way somebody would do that. Right. Why wouldn't they just pay for the funerals? That's the right thing to do. Right. Because if something happens up in your job place, you gonna do the same thing. You finna pay for everybody's funerals. You know how much a funeral is? It's a lot.
Yeah, but I mean,
you know how much my daddy's casket was?
I think
$8,000. His casket was $8,000. It cost $800 to bury the dirt, to remove the dirt. Was $800. I asked him if I could do it.
Right.
$800?
Yeah.
Right? To put the $8,000 casket in. So, yeah, like it's probably cheaper to do that than it is to pay for everybody's funeral. Because at the time of sadness and this and grief and whatever, you can't be responsible for all of that because again, the regular average person isn't gonna let you go through their stuff or look through their stuff to make sure that everybody's secure. A lot of times when people ask me my name, when you do the credit card, right? How many times you go and swipe your credit card and you sign the thing on the back that says, make sure that you ask for your ID because that's what it says on the back of the credit card. If this is signed and check how many people actually do that. Right. And then sometimes people will do it and people are like, well, hurry up. But it's for your protection.
Right.
You know? Right. So I had told somebody the other day, they were like, I lost my phone or something, whatever. You know, I lose my phone all the time. But they went through a whole rigorous process of me getting my stuff back. Right. And I was about to get irritated and I said, you know what? Stop. Thank you. Right. Because now I know that my stuff was protected and somebody else couldn't have just came up here and told you some okie doke and you would have gave him my phone.
Right.
You know, so it's like, do we do that on an everyday basis to have our protection on our credit cards and the stuff that we actually signed to ask people to do?
Yeah. Please ask for ID.
You know what I'm saying?
Why are you asking me for my ID?
Why are you asking me for my ID? just run the card because it's what it says on the card that you signed.
It says it right here, lady.
Right. But we get mad about those little things. But then when stuff like that goes, well, why don't we got, man, because y'all complain every time somebody trying to protect you from something in the first place.
Yeah.
After a while, what are you going to do? But I don't know. I never think it's one person. That's just my personal thing. Even one person done told somebody.
I mean, maybe. They did catch him quick. You know, he's right here. He's in this room. Mm-hmm. He's over here. Okay. We want to talk about this?
T.I. He was here.
I know he was here. So apparently T.I. has been charged with 3 misdemeanors stemming from an altercation with a security guard. So again, more money, more problems, right? Now dealing with security guards and different types of people who might be in a situation where they're going to sue me for whatever it might be, or I might get in trouble for my interaction. You know, I'm thinking that I can interact this way with someone and I cannot. And now suddenly that was against the law and maybe I didn't know and, you know, what have you. But T.I. was hit with an array of charges stemming from his May arrest where the Atlanta rapper was involved in an altercation with his gated community's security guard. The 3 misdemeanors laid down by Harris County prosecutors included simple assault, disorderly conduct, and public drunkenness.
Oh, come on. That's what we do. You know that's what he was saying.
No,
hey, come on, we drinks.
No, that's not what we do in public. That's what we do at the house. At the house.
In the sippy cups.
Not in the sippy cup.
Well, you know, I think that's that little bit of that privilege attitude when you famous. It happens. Don't you think? You start feeling like you. I mean, he's T.I.
Yeah.
Who often tells T.I. Don't do that. Like anything. Don't do whatever he's doing.
Right.
Like how many times you think people tell him that? Like, you know, y'all acting kind of rowdy. Y'all know y'all, you know, and
yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, I mean, when you get to a certain point, not all people, and I'm hoping that we can constrain ourselves as we rise, right? But yeah, people tend to start acting silly, like because they're all the stuff that all the things that we what is the term? All the things that we put upon people that are privileged, right? So we start acting privileged and spoiled. And what do you mean you don't got Vichy Soir up in here?
Yeah, and that line comes out. That line, right? And the line comes out. You don't know who I am.
You don't know who I am. That's
and
the worst
that's
line.
the line. I mean, I love for people to tell me that line because I'll be like, nah, I don't. Even if I do,
sorry.
Nah, who is you?
Yeah.
I know this bill is $22.95,
but I don't know you.
But I don't know who you is. You know, just because. And I want to slap people when I hear that.
That privilege stuff is something that needs to be checked every time. Like, you know, I can see, but I can see. Like,
I can see it.
I'm sorry, T.I., that you're going through this, but I'm sorry that you made it happen. Don't be drunk and then go and yell at your security guard. Like, you know, there's still a thing. Nobody wants to change themselves for whatever. But, you know, I never watched, but from what I gather, his television show was very much a Huxtable-esque type of vibe.
Oh yeah, he was very daddy vibe.
Would he have ever, you know, been drunk and gone outside and yelled at a security guard on that show?
Nah.
Do you think that would have been?
No, they would have cut that out.
They would have cut it out.
Yeah, it was very much of a, come on, son, here's today's lesson. And this is do when you come in to do that, Mr. Rogers.
That's not Mr. Rogers' song, but I get
it. And it's been the neighborhood. Would you be mine?
Right.
And then he changed his shoes into his sneakers for the day. Yeah, he was very much that
like
dude.
That. All right, so if you're gonna show that to people, but then you're gonna show this, you know, in private, this is what you're gonna do, and you can't get mad when you know people. I mean, I don't even know if he's mad about it. He might not be mad about it, but I'm just saying, like, my man, like, people. You know, if you in the public eye and people are watching and you care about your image because your show was that, so apparently you wanted that to be part of your thing, and then you turn around.
Well, he doesn't have a show anymore, does he? Is he back into the gangster?
But he did. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, big shout to T.I. Your music's incredible. You're
it's always gonna
end with I know that
stuff.
I know that there's a lot of lessons and a lot of jewels that you dropped on kids and society and stuff like that. But, you know, there's no reason for you to run outside drunk and
would you be
yell
my,
at a dude that, you know, makes a whole lot less money than you.
Would you be my neighbor?
I mean, I don't know the whole story. I will say that. But I also, like, I don't know.
You can see it, though.
I've lived in gated communities with security guards. I know, you know, and unless you're in a situation where things are being totally, like, this dude is just being horrible, like it's truly a thing. I've never run outside and yelled at a security guard in a gated community where I have lived in Florida. In Miami, there's a lot of gated communities and with security guards, and especially, you know, after a certain size home, right? But anyway, so don't run outside and yell at these dudes. Are there just to do a job too, and they're not, you know, like there's steps that you can take, right? There's the homeowners association and the board and the this and the that, and these dudes are usually just doing what the board is telling them to do, right?
It's
because they're there making $30,000 a year like everybody else, and they're trying, and then to have some rich dude come outside and start yelling at them for something that another rich dude told them that this is how we run things,
right?
Then maybe that's not always the thing, right? So you go talk to your peer.
Ego, baby, ego. That ego of what you don't think I live over here.
I don't know if that's the situation though. Like, we don't know. I wasn't there, so I don't know that that's what T.I. was dealing with. But, you know, remember, there are levels to everything, right? And if you are at this level and you're yelling at a person that's at this level, then, you know, an adult that argues with fools, or a person that argues with fools shall also be considered one, or something like that. Like, is that the adage? So if you're arguing with a fool, then you too are a fool. You might be more foolish than the person arguing because they don't know any better. But you sitting there arguing with them. So I'm not saying that the guy was a fool. What I'm getting at is that there are levels. Go argue with your peer. This man is not your peer. He's working for you.
Right.
Like anything else. Go argue with your peers. Call the association. Be like, yo,
write a letter.
No, but you telling me that he don't know he don't got the phone number of the president of the homeowners association in the gated community in which he lives? Like, Derek, tell this dude to leave me alone. Talk to your peers, man.
All of that, and when you say it like that, you know, when you say it like that, it makes all the sense why he didn't do that. Like, again, I say we, let me stop grouping. He might be the kind that doesn't like to read instructions. You know, the people that don't like to read instructions, we just do. Instead of going through the proper channels and you just feel, well, I'm just going to say it and I'm woo-woo and I got it off my chest. Now I feel better. Meanwhile, you done walked away and he's like, oh, you say what?
Right.
Now the other guy feels a certain way. Now his ego's bruised, so now I'm calling 911 on that ass. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to think straight when you got that drink in you.
Yeah. Well, that's
okay. There you go. So Ninette wrote, "Never argue with a fool. Onlookers may not be able to tell the difference." There it is. That's the adage I was trying to pull for.
Which one is the fool?
Which one is the fool? That was the adage I was trying to pull.
That was a good one.
So there was a lot of talk that that Chance the Rapper was going to be releasing an album this week, right? There was a lot of talk about that because he's also going to be he's also doing a special event this week, and he was going to be celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Special Olympics. That's happening on Saturday, and he's part of it, and it's happening in his hometown, and it was going to be a big thing. So a lot of people were saying that he was going to drop an album this week too in honor of that. But you know, his first album, he's Chance the Rapper now because of that first album, right? So everybody's waiting for the next one. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So yesterday the idea was that he was dropping an album this week, but it has been confirmed by him on his Twitter account. Sorry guys, there is actually no album coming out this week. I am so sorry. So he wrote, sorry, no album this week. Definitely been in the studio though. Okay. So I guess we can look we can look forward to something, but
just meantime, not. But it ain't in this. These 7 days.
It's not going to be, certainly not going to be this week. But that also kind of makes me feel as though, been in the studio though, that also makes me feel as though, yeah, he's working on it, but it's still further. It's not going to be next week either. Right.
Like, it's way further along. Like, where did y'all get this from? Right. Like, that's what it feels like. I've been in the
studio, but
like,
it's not going to be next week either. Like,
that's what
I ain't got dropping anything this week.
I just got the intro.
Yeah. I ain't moving to my new house yet. I did buy the land though. What? So that means you ain't moving tomorrow.
Yeah.
We still got a house to build.
Yeah,
we still got a house to build.
I love it.
No, so if you were waiting, if you were one of the many people that are Chance the Rapper fans and you were waiting for the album,
continue to wait.
Yeah, continue to wait. It's gonna be a little while longer for that.
Well, look, guys, I'm telling you, it has been a beautiful morning, but it is that time. We've got to get hair done. Bill Clinton's coming into town. We've got things to do. I've got a set to get ready for.
10 o'clock in the morning.
It is 10:09.
Yeah. You know I never want to leave. All right.
10:09.
Now's the time to say goodbye to all the family. Nigga just want to take
I don't know why Mr. Rogers. I mean, come on, man. He used to always take his shoes off from work.
Took his shoes off, came in and put some sneakers on, rocked out with the kids for a while. Now I got to bounce. So take your sneakers off, put your shoes back on, put your jacket back on.
Wasn't he in Scandal?
Got to roll. No.
He wasn't in Scandal in his life of Mr. Rogers.
You know what's crazy? We live in a society right now where how wasn't he in a scandal playing with them kids?
Right. In my mind, I was like, did he mess with them little boys?
Isn't that terrible?
Terrible.
That's terrible. And this guy, I can't wait to watch the documentary. I haven't watched yet. But this is a man who, in the, I want to say late 60s, early 70s, single-handedly saved PBS. He testified in front of Congress. And you can watch this video on YouTube if you Google this video. It's amazing to watch. Basically, they were going to defund all of it. Like, no more Sesame Street, no more, any of that stuff. No more Electric Company, no more Zoom, no more none of that stuff. Like, yo, this PBS stuff is crazy. And they were going to defund all of it. And this man, brand new, just started his show, testified in front of Congress, and you can see like the passion and all this stuff. No, not in him right away. You see like the senators oh, sorry, you get to talk. So what is it that you want to tell me about this? Like what? Like I'm ready to sign this paperwork right now to cancel this stuff. Like what do you want to say? Like you can feel it, in 1960s terms, but you could feel it. And this man, just the way he does, that way that he spoke on television was the way he talked. He was just like, well, I think that it would be a mistake if we did this because, and he started to break it down, talk about budgets. He started that show and his budget was like $14 to start his show in a local market, but he did it anyway. Like the budget for a television show,
$14
was like $14. That's cameras, that's lights, that's props, that's puppets, that's the people working. That's $14. And they were able to make it work because they knew they all had a vision. This is for children. We want to make kids have a happier place to grow. And he started to talk about, he told the story, and he told about his personal experiences with children. And the things that Mr. Rogers talked about wasn't only about like, oh, let me talk, here's the ABCs, and they dealt with things that little children had issues, like the issues of being a kid. Like he talked about, he told a story about, we deal with issues like getting your first haircut. And how scary an experience.
The kids be crying.
Oh my gosh, how scary an experience that might be. But imagine if Mr. Rogers got to talk to your kid about his first haircut or her first haircut before they dealt with that experience, and how you can just, don't worry. This is what the sounds are. This is what the sounds are. This is what they're doing, and it doesn't hurt, and it's a thing. And then that child will be more. But I mean, nobody thinks about little kids' issues like that. It's like, just deal with it. Mr. Rogers was the type of person that would look at a child,
and little itty bitty, if he was in any scandals,
and would try to think like, okay, what is this person afraid of? Yeah. What is this? What is the issues that this child might be dealing with? They dealt with issues like divorce. Divorce, when you're little teeny weeny, it is not your fault. Sometimes mommy and daddies just can't get along anymore.
And that sometimes was in the 60s. They don't see how things don't.
That doesn't have anything to do with you. That is not your fault. That is not your. Come on, man. That goes a lot further than A, B, C,
absolutely.
D.
And I bet you that. And of course, these are not the things that we remember either. No. But these are the things, like you said, it's things that we need. And that's why we say talk to your kids.
It made our lives a little easier. This man came in everybody's household and talked to everybody's children and made their life a little more pleasant and made their life a little more easy to deal with. When we ourselves couldn't talk to our children because we don't know what they're going through, he knew. And he studied and he made it work. So
shout out to Eddie Murphy, who did the what did Eddie Murphy do on Saturday Night Live?
Why shout out to Eddie Murphy?
Just because I I just
Mr. Robinson's name.
Rob Robinson, that's right.
That was a funny.
Because it was probably the best skit that was not
nothing
like,
to do with Mr. Robbins except for the parody of it.
Yeah, the parody of it. Because some of the parodies now be like, but that was my favorite little parody.
Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood.
Because I like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, so I was like, that is so funny.
You know, to this day, I sometimes answer my my door like that. Like when I go to, sometimes who is it?
That.
Like, who is it?
Yeah, that's believable.
And that's just Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. See, so on every level, he influenced my life.
Or just a rough one.
Rough life. All right, let's do this. You got to go get stuff done, apparently.
Oh my gosh, we're so late. Jesus! Thank you. Thank you for everything. One of those days. We love you guys so very much.
Absolutely.
We will see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, because it's day 4.
It is Wednesday.
Whatever day that is. Thanks.
Today's Wednesday.
All right. We love you guys. Everybody be careful. Be safe. All right.
Yeah. Keep it sexy, San Antonio. We love you. We'll see you mañana. Kissy face. Bye.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. I have to run. Run.
Wait. Let me push the button. Wave goodbye to the people. Say goodbye, Nika. She didn't say goodbye.
I am. This is my...